Hey guys, I was dumb and played another Zero to Hero, but I never hit record. In that game, we took down Cave Troll, and as we were leaving, we got into a fight with a rogue. Sadly, we were very heavily outgeared and once again lost the run. I didn't want to start over again immediately, so I put on my best gear, which is a pretty tanky build that also lets our Rapier hit in the 90s. And I have two games here for y'all with that. These two games will take place in the Goblin Caves and the Howling Crypts, and I didn't really run into too many players, but we did get into, from what I'm remembering, at least one fight. The rest of this is basically just going to be me running around the map, clearing it, sharing my thoughts, basically just AP grind and chill. So if you're wanting to learn how to maximize your AP, then this is probably a good video, especially in the second game. Hope y'all enjoy. In this Goblin Caves match, we started very close to Cave Troll, and so that's all I'm just going to start off by going to. We'll kill Cave Troll, probably loot up some, and decide if we want to go to Cyclops from there. And since I didn't go over our perks, we have Charismatic Performance because it's Bard's best perk. We get to skip 1 note per song, 2 notes on some of the longer songs like Harmonic Shield, Piercing Shrill, and Din of Darkness. And that just basically turns into less time playing songs and more time doing other things. We also have Rapier Mastery and War Song. Both give added weapon damage. Rapier Mastery also gives action speed. And this both helps us in PvP, but it also just helps our clear speed around the map again, because the quicker we can kill all the mobs, the quicker we can move. And lastly, we have Superior Dexterity, and this is one of my favorite perks on Bard. It lets us swap between our weapons and our utility in half the time. So this means we can go into a fight and hit somebody with our rapier, back out, and immediately start hitting them with our survival bow before they're able to. And then when they switch to their ranged weapon, we can just run into melee again and start hitting them with our rapier, because we do all of this faster than everyone else. It's really good to have. Not to mention that when you're also running Shriek of Weakness and War Song, that's more time actually swinging with your weapon than transitioning to it. All right, anyway, enough talk about perks. We're here at the Cave Troll. I always just run left when I fight this thing. I done the go right strat. I feel like the go left one is easier and it doesn't really necessarily change how quickly you do the Cave Troll, in all honesty. So I just go left. Basically, after every swing, we get 2 hits in. If he does his fist slam into the ground, we can do 3, but other than that, it's just 2 hits every time. And with the Cave Troll down, we actually find a Wind Locket, which usually don't sell that much because they don't give a lot of armor rating. But this has 3 magical healing and 2 true magical damage. This is everything a Warlock would ever want. And so I'm thinking that if I pick this up, we'll probably be able to sell it for a decent amount. So I'll just keep it. It's just 1 slot. I know Wind Lockets don't normally sell, but this thing's pretty awesome. So we checked and we saw that no one's done Cyclops yet, but I'm pretty sure there's another Bard in this game, so there's a chance that he might go fight it. With that in mind, I decided that I would loot from this gold pile first, and if this still isn't open, I'll just run it over Cyclops after and take him down. So at this point, Cyclops still isn't done, and I still have a decent amount of loot that I can get from this. I could probably just fill it from Lion's Heads, but fighting Cyclops is just another 100 AP just straight up for killing him. So I'm just gonna go do that. And you're actually about to see a pretty big mistake. I took off my heavy Gambus in here so I could move around the map faster, get the Cyclops quicker. What I didn't realize is that one of the death bats in this room is actually a nightmare variant, and I didn't leave enough space to pick up my drum again, and I almost die. But since I want to still get the Cyclops, I'm just deciding to use a surge kit here. Everything should be fine. We'll get healed up and we'll get out of here. All right, now that that's over with, I'm pretty sure we make it to Cyclops pretty smoothly from this point on. And you might be thinking that with the zone closing, we don't have enough time to fight the Cyclops, but playing Bard and using Streak of Weakness with Warsong, we have more than enough damage to do this, especially since we could just run back to the cave troll room and be in the zone after we kill this. So yeah, once you get a decent amount of strength on Bard, a lot of the Cyclops mechanics just don't matter anymore. And as long as you don't get petrified or killed by rockfall, you're fine. I did decide just to do one quick pull because why not? And then we'll move on. We did upgrade our lyre to give one more resourcefulness there, so that's always nice too, especially if we're going to be pulling from the piles. I have the setting on to move to the next slot when you finish all of your potions or all of your bandages, or you throw your drum or throw some axes, and I didn't realize, and that's why I threw my drum there. I was just meaning to press 4 again and go to my bandages, but it did it for me automatically, and yeah, a little awkward, but you know, it happens sometimes. At this point, we're just going to push into the zone. If we find another player to fight, we'll take the fight. If not, we'll just run around and clear a bunch of goblins and get as much AP as we can that way now. Opening portals also gives AP, and while I was opening this, I actually heard somebody on the other side of the room, so I decided to push over to him, and he ran away. So that's fine, we'll just let him be. You might be wondering why I dropped the scroll. Basically, the more slots that you're able to fill up with different items, you'll get more AP. So even though that was a blue big scroll, if I get the blue plate and then also like 2 green things to fill in, that's actually going to give me more AP than just one big blue thing. All right, and we're out making almost 1400 AP overall. The only amount that we actually earned because of the 600 entrance fee was 787. And that's also a decent amount of gold from sellables as well. And then after listing the Wind Locket for I think 450 and the Crystal Sword for another decent amount, we are here in the Howling Crypts. The entire game plan for a bard on this map is to clear around the map and try to get all of the big chests that you can while killing all of the mobs at the same time. We have a really great PvE clear with Shriek of Weakness plus Warsong, and our interaction speed really isn't that bad either, so opening Lion's Heads, Golden Chests, and stuff like that doesn't really take as long as, say, a Barbarian or a Fighter. So the TLDR is I see a Lion's Head, I get a Lion's Head. Everything else, from here to there, is Dedge. All right, and going back to our strat, we grabbed the Lion's Head that was right there. Now we're coming into here because I know that there's at least one in this room and one in the room next to it. But I did forget to bring lockpicks, which isn't the best. And the other Lion's Head is through this way. But we do hear another player here, and I would highly recommend to never push a player through these tunnels. When I got over there, I realized he was a wizard, and I'm pretty healthy, so I decided to do it anyway. But you are a very, very easy target in here. And because that didn't go well, we're backing up to heal, and I'm just going to consider re-engaging, but I'm not 100% sure if I want to do it or not. And he did just drink a protection pot, I'm pretty sure. I heard the little whoosh sound effect. So I'm just going to back up and heal up and try to run around to block him off after I heal up, because I'm assuming that he shouldn't want to push through here either. Assumptions. My assumption was wrong. He did decide to push through the tunnel, which means he's dead. Since we have a survival bow and he's crouch blocking, he can't really dodge anything. He's a wizard. He's gonna die in 2 to 3 hits, even though he has a protection pot on. This was just a very bad play by him, and this is why I recommend not pushing people through these tunnels. Since I have roughly 140 health and like 40% PDR, it is doable. It's really just honestly not smart though. I was looking at his gear some more when I was doing the surge kits, and the only thing that was really worth keeping were his rings. Those were both giving him either add or true magic damage. Everything else, it had like magic power and stuff, but it wasn't necessarily the greatest pieces of gear, so I'm just dropping them here. And since we fought here, we do have a pretty good ways to go before we get into the zone again, so I'm just going to try to do that venture as quickly as possible, so that way we don't necessarily get blocked off by another player or something like that. I'd rather just be in the zone clearing it than having to push in, because it gets a lot more difficult to play that way. That was a very fun situation, and I just wanted to get out of it. The archer broke the door, but that's completely fine. We'll just fight the skeleton without having to dodge a million arrows at the same time. This is a great room to clear if you have the time. There are so many skeletons in this room, and there's mummies and zombies as well. But there's 2 lion's heads in the center, and that is very worth it. As a side note, it might feel okay to take damage in this room because there's a health shrine here, but since there's 2 lion's heads, it's actually a room that people come to pretty often. And with that in mind, I wouldn't recommend taking damage to heal from the health shrine here. Just try to stay as topped up as you can, because if someone comes in and you're at like half health, you don't really have very many options. It's either leave, die, or outplay them extremely well to where you take no damage. At this point, we're only like 1 health pot or 1 bandage away from full health, but I'm just gonna help the health shrine anyway because it gives AP to use it. Coming into the library, we found our reds, but it doesn't look like it was cleared by anyone, so I need to take out the death skulls first. This was really dumb. I used my lockpick here, not realizing that the other side was a golden chest. I should have used it on the golden chest, but I didn't. So then I searched through all the different death skulls, hoping to find another lockpick, and I didn't. Oh well, it happens. Just don't be me. Check both chests before you start to open one. All right, and here we are in Inferno. Compared to the last game, you're going to see that I'm doing this a little bit more quickly. Because of the gear I'm wearing, I feel a lot more confident compared to having mostly unoptimized blues and greens on. I forgot that if I jumped up here, I pulled a demon bat too. As soon as I heard it, I pulled the centaur to the cheese spot so I could take care of the demon bat first. With the demon bat, whenever he attacks, just crouch down and look up with your shield. It should block it every time. Then you can get 2 swings in, 3 if you have a ton of dexterity, but 2's the safer number. Genuinely, at this point, I didn't know how much the centaur tail sold for. I think it was going for like 300, but I just picked it up anyway. There's also another demon bat in this room right here. So when you come under this way, just be prepared to fight it. Again, it's really easy. Just crouch down, block looking up, and then take 2 swings. A Castellan with 2 add weapon damage and 2 max health is actually really good, so I decided to pick it up and sell that too. And then after we finish buffing here, I'm going to go into the 4-corner skeleton bridge room because there's 2 lion's heads in there and I want to be able to get to this. Sadly, this one was a pick lock, but no worries. We're just going to hit to the zone again now. I was actually contemplating fighting that demon berserker, but as soon as I pulled the archer, I knew that I didn't want to do it and just decided to pull him out of the room. But I was struggling to find the door, so we had to do it twice. Now we're just going to use the health shrine to top on up, open up this escape portal just in case we need it for later, and then we're going to head into the next room and try to get a few more chests before we leave. Since I have 2 escape portals now, I feel confident to go underneath and grab the loot room under here. If you didn't know where it was, then I'm going to show you right now. There's actually some pretty good chests down here, and I feel like it's one that's more ignored than actually looted most of the time. Legendary loose trousers are great now that there's no movement speed on pants. These are +3 movement speed just for wearing them. Also action speed, max health. They're just overall fairly solid, so I decided to pick them up, and I'm just going to drop my arrows for them. And the final zone's closing, so now we have to get out, but somebody actually just stole the portal that I opened up in this room. That's completely fine. We'll just go back to the last one. It's right there anyway. And after this game, we were able to get just under 1800 AP, which pushed us into Exemplar. And it really didn't take too much. We just kind of walked around and looted. We did fight one wizard. That one player kill was also only worth 69 AP. So I see you, Iron Mace. You thought the players wouldn't notice. We did. So just running around, killing stuff, and looting big chests is highly rewarding on this map specifically. Anyway, this is where I'm going to end the video, so if you enjoyed the content, please just give me a comment, like, or subscribe to the channel. Anything and everything helps, and I really do appreciate each and every one of you who do it. And as always, I hope that each and every one of you have a very great day, and I hope to see y'all next time. Peace.